Most EVs in most places are not green at all. The places that we have chosen to do the processing and the way we do the processing is very soft coal intensive. And so the energy intensity to generate one of these things in the first place is an order of magnitude more than a normal car.
Is it the
So if
battery you're talking about, the lithium, or the what is
it's primarily but the
cobalt?
lithium, but not just the lithium. So like the frame is a an alloy of silicon and aluminum. And most of this stuff is processed in China with coal. With silicon, you basically bake it with coal until everything that's not silicon boils away. And aluminum is the most energy intensive metal that humans create. And again,
Mm.
it's processed with coal power in China. And so if you're looking at like the Tesla propaganda, they basically claim that their cars are made with 100% green tech, and that doesn't happen anywhere in the world. It's almost exclusively coal. Second, we're going to have a material shortage. For us to do the green transition in a way that we're talking about with the technologies that we know, solar, wind, EVs, and so on, we need 3 times as much copper and 10 times as much nickel and 18 times as much graphite and on and on and on and on. And humanity has never in 6,000 years doubled the amount of any industrial material that we already had in use ever. And we're going to do this now for 12 different materials, and we're going to do it without Russia, and we're going to do it without China. Bullshit. So we need to look within the constraints of what we actually have and might be able to build out in the next 10 and 20 years. And then we need to take a really hard look, not just at the economic footprint, but the carbon footprint of the technologies in question. And we're going to have to do something we really don't like to do in this country, make some choices. And putting solar where it's sunny, slam dunk, do that. Putting wind where it's windy, slam dunk, do that. With EVs, maybe some fleet vehicles in communities where it's sunny or windy. So Phoenix, sure. Denver, sure. You drive an EV and you put up solar panels in New York, you have increased your carbon footprint with those choices. And since we're not going to have enough materials to do this at scale anyway, we're going to have to choose where to put this stuff. Now, the environmental movement is moving in this direction. And I actually have to say I'm a little impressed because they're not a group that is known for making long-term math-based decisions. What's going on in Europe right now is because the natural gas from the Russians going into Germany has basically gone to zero, they're discovering that their solar and their wind system are not all that it's cracked up to be because Germany is a very non-windy, non-sunny country. And they've had to plug the gap with soft coal, lignite. And so it's now about half of their electricity generation. Don't look at German stats. The Germans lie about their stats. They go by power used, not by power generated. So when the sun comes up in the morning, they count all of their green power. But a lignite power plant takes more than a day to spin up and down, and they need it for the night. But that means they also have to leave it running for the day. So they don't count what happens during the day, even though it's more than the sun. Anyway, so if you look at it from a more non-Enron, more honest approach, they're getting about half of their power from coal now, making it one of the dirtier economies out there. So the German Greens and the California Greens, two geographies that have relatively similar policies when it comes to adopting green tech, they're having a conversation about the numbers. The Californians have spent about 1/3 as much in putting up green tech, but they get 5 times as much electricity because it's actually sunny in California. And the conversation of why it's working in one place and another, this conversation, it has an easy answer, basic geography. And they should have had this conversation 15 years ago, but they're having it now. And as it becomes obvious that we're not going to have as much zinc and lithium and the rest, we're going to have to choose where this stuff goes. And it's not going to go in Germany.